On a couple of occasions, I believe I've met with angels. On one occasion, I was with a group of friends in walking around Mont Blanc. One of the great walks of Europe is there's a way around Mont Blanc that takes you about a fortnight, that varies between 6,000 and 8,000 feet, and it's a beautiful walk. This is some of the views. I thought I was on top of the world when I went there. This was about 1989. I was there with a group of friends from church. We was there from our church where I grew up in. We had a walking group, and we went out and we walked all through all the hills and mountains of England, and a few times we went off to the Pyrenees and one or two other things. But I think the best walk we ever had was round Mont Blanc, and it was one of those things. We was there for we only had 7 days, so we couldn't walk the whole walk. But during that 7 days, we had brilliant sunshine, pouring rain, fog, gales, and an enormous snowstorm in a week. It was quite thrilling, but it got quite dangerous on one part. And this is where we went through. We started off in Chamonix, and then we walked round here to Courmayeur, and then that's what we did. That was a walk. It took us about 7 days, beautiful. But at one point, down towards the bottom of the area here, we got into a whiteout. I don't know where a whiteout is, when the snow is coming down so hard and the snow is covering the ground that you cannot differentiate where the ground is. It's all white, and it becomes quite dangerous. But when that happened, we was quite near a hut like this, not this hut, because I couldn't take a photograph of any of this stuff. This is just something I've gained off of Google to give you. All along this walk there are huts like this, sometimes about 8 by 10, something like that with a door on, where you could just shelter for a bit. And as we was going along, we'd all decided what we're going to do. The weather's obviously getting worse, and we were staying in basically youth hostels along this walk. Every day's walk there was a youth hostel that was coming in. So we was looking to see what to do, and we got to a hut like this, and when we went in, it was absolutely packed. There were loads of other people in there. But they'd been in there, you know, sort of just recovering for about an hour, made some tea and drinks and had some food, I suppose, and were moving on. They were doing the same walks and were up ahead and started a day off in front of us. But they said they felt it was too dangerous to go on and were returning. And in fact, one of their party had fallen and broken their arm, clearly. And so they were going back. And this is not the actual path, but it's a path in there. I may have walked through it. This is the sort of territory you were walking on. These paths were walking along. And you can see quite often it is quite dangerous. If you left the path too much, you could fall a few hundred feet, 1,000 feet in some cases. Well, you imagine if all that's white and you can't see, it's quite dangerous. But the path is regularly, so you know what I mean, marked with these red and white stripes. And I couldn't find a picture of them anywhere, strange enough, and I never took a picture at the time. But all along the park on these rocks, you had these marks. It's amazing how you saw these. So it's a well-worn route, but of course in the darkness and the light, it was difficult. Anyway, we're in this hut, 8 of us, the others had asked, and we made some tea, we've got some cooking stuff, made some tea, and we're trying to decide what to do. Do we go on or do we go back? And then we were quite divided about what we should do. And so we said, well, come on, let's get down, we're all Christians, let's pray about it. And so we prayed, I should think, for about 20 minutes in there, Lord. And one of the prayers came out from one or two people, send us a sign about whether we should go forward or go back. You know, and the consequences of going back would have been quite disastrous. We'd have put all our schedules out of getting back home again. And whilst we were there, 2 people came into the hut, and we said hello to them, and because we just made tea, we gave them the tea and their cup, and they said, oh well, it's quite all right along this path. We've just come from the direction of the hostel we was trying to get, and he said, you'll see the path there, and the markers are quite clear despite the snow. We said, oh, that's good. So we packed up, and they left because they was going in the opposite direction, and we walked on to this shack. That's where we didn't know, that's what we was heading for. This photograph was taken the following morning. You can see a bit still misty. That's what we was looking for. It looked better the other side. It was up, it was being rebuilt. But that's what we was looking for in the dark, and we went through. Anyway, we went through. It was difficult, and we were close together. We was only 2 foot apart as we're going through these things, but we saw these markers, and we're in some places the snow was up to our waist, and we was very aware we had to be careful. I couldn't see more than 2 people in front of me, or 2 people behind me. It was that dense, the snow. And we went round and we saw a couple of markers, and we saw actually there were a couple of signs like that along the way that told us how far the refuge was, so we knew we was getting there. And in fact we got to the refuge and were safe. But we talked to the people there, and we said, oh well, we got some, you know, there were a couple of young men who were coming he said they come from it, told us the path out, because the people who was looking after it, there was 2 wardens in this place, said, well, we're absolutely amazed that you've come. We haven't seen anybody all day. And we said, well, 2 people just said they've walked along the path. Can't believe that, they said. Nobody's come up from the valley down below. We had nobody in here staying here last night. We've been on our own. You were the first people we've seen in 2 days. Now I believe they were a couple of angels that just came along the way and gave us a message to say you're safe to go on. Now you can take that as just a story or whatever, but I believe that was a couple of angels. Just somebody who came along and helped a group of Christians get on their way. So I do believe in angels. I don't pray to angels. I certainly pray against the forces of evil, and I believe that angels help us when we do.